Okay, so today I'm going to be working on something that I've been planning on doing for quite some time now, and finally found some time to work on it. I'm going to be working on a welding cart for my welder. So currently, I just have my welder underneath my fab table here, and that works for the most part, but every so often I have to move it around the garage and work on either a car or work on something that's too big to fit on my fab table. So what I really want to do is build this cart so that way whenever that time comes, I can just push the cart around the garage and whatnot. So it's going to be a pretty simple build. I'm just going to make a 3-tier cart. I currently only have one welder and one tank, but for future reference, in case I run into getting another welder, which I plan to eventually, I'm going to make room for 2 welders, possibly 3. For now, probably just storage on the bottom and then the 2 welders up top, as well as a additional tank on the rear. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty simple. I'll just start making all my tiers, and then I got some wheels here from Harbor Freight, and I'll fabricate an axle for the bottom and these swivel wheels for the front, and it should come together pretty good. So yeah, we'll get working on it now. All right, so we got 2 of the 3 frames welded together now. I'm going to be working on the bottom frame first because I want to get the wheels all set up and the axle and all that stuff. So what I'm going to be using is I have a piece of all thread here. I'm going to be using that for the axle, and then I'll actually just use this piece of 1-inch pipe, which will slide directly over top of the piece of all thread that I have there. And the welding tanks are obviously going to be a majority of the weight on this cart. So I'm going to put an additional support pretty much right underneath where those 2 are going to sit, as well as that will be a spot to weld my piece of pipe to, where I will run my all thread axle through, and then I'll leave, of course, a little bit sticking out each side, which is where I'll slide my wheels over top, and I'll just cap them with a nut and a couple washers so they're able to roll pretty well. All right, so all I did here to get the base of the cart level was put my axle in here, set up my wheels. Obviously, I had it flipped over, and I held the level on top of the cart, and I was able to hold the wheel on the front end here in order to determine how much thickness of a plate I needed to mount that on. And I came up with about 3/8, which is what this is. So I cut two 3-inch plates, which is where I'll mount the front wheels. And that way, with where the rear wheels sit and the axle, the fronts will sit level. So that way the whole platform will sit level. All right, so we got the bottom of the cart all finished up here. Next, what I'm going to do is cut my vertical post. So I'm going to leave enough room in the rear for the tanks, of course, as I said earlier. So I'm probably going to put my post somewhere in here. I'm going to cut those to length. I'll put those on, and then I will weld the other two shelves on. And then I'll do some additional gussets if need be. And then on those two shelves, I'll weld some expanded metal as opposed to a solid plate. Okay, so I've pretty much got the whole cart put together now. I got all these kickers in for extra support for each shelf and for the overall columns here. And then I ended up taking this top piece and extending it out a little bit farther for a handle. So that way whenever I want to push it around my garage. The last thing I got to do here is weld a couple pieces of tubing around the rear to box in where the tanks are going to go. So what I'm going to do is I have these kind of already mocked up. I'm going to go ahead and tack these on here, and then these will both be coming out the rear. And then I'm going to have one in the center here holding the tanks on, and I'm going to use a latch and hinge so that way I can just easily open and close that whenever the tanks are empty and need to be filled up. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get those tacked on, and then we should be pretty much all done. Besides, I'm going to do a couple accessories around it, such as hooks and spots to wrap up my whip and ground and other cables and all that. So okay, I think we're pretty much wrapped up on this cart here. I went ahead and welded some hooks up front here, just to hang my welding hood and whatever else I want to hook on there. And I welded some cord wrap up areas up top on that one, and then down here as well, because I'll probably put a welder there eventually as well. And then I'll show you guys what I did for the tank spot back here. So all I did was weld two pieces of tubing coming off on the back here, and then I bolted a hinge on this far side and then a latch mechanism on this side, and then just obviously this is a standalone piece of tubing itself. So I just go ahead and pop this latch here, and then this swings out and it's hinged over here. So yeah, that should work pretty well. Definitely better than what I got going on right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up with some acetone, take the wheels off, and then it's all ready for paint. Okay, so we're pretty much all wrapped up here. I got my welder on here, got all the cords wrapped up on the cord storage that I put in here, got the tank on there and everything fits, got the latch on, got the latch back here to enclose the tank. That works great. And there's plenty more room for another tank as well as another welder, which eventually I'll put below here. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I think it came out pretty good. Really like the way it turned out.